Have you ever, like modular synths? Have you ever uh, experienced someone playing with a modular
What
synth?
is a modular synth? Oh,
A
we're good to
modular
go?
synth.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
No, yeah.
a modular synth
Yeah.
is like one of those synths that has all the inputs that you put cables into that like change, so you can like really dial in like frequency and like all this stuff, and you can make crazy sounds. So like, have you heard of End Times Festival? End Times
No.
Festival is just like a noise festival that happens for like 3 days over the weekend. It happened in the beginning of April at Silent Barn, but it's literally just people making like kind of noises, for like,
Like Merzbow?
yeah, like Merzbow.
Level 8 of My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and TuneIn, and of course on my website, peteraradio.us. My guest today is the drummer of Brooklyn band Weeping Icon, and she was a very important part of Silent Barn, which we'll talk about, and Northside Festival, Clock Tower, and many other projects. She's a superstar. Ladies and gentlemen, my conversation with Lani. I think that you're one of the hardest working ladies in Brooklyn. I definitely think so, because you're in Weeping Icon, you do War Cries, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And the EP is called Eyeball Under. If anybody hasn't heard it yet, please listen to it. It is absolutely fantastic, and you're a big staple at Silent Barn, and you've been a part of about 500 shows. And tell me about the impact that it's had on you so far of the closing.
The impact on me has been, it's felt strange, though it's something that I think needed to happen. I think that the people that started, Silent Barn was a space for 7 years, and then that space got shut down, and then this space was like the newer, kind of like bigger version of that. And I think what ended up happening was, because it was just like a house show spot and wanting to bring that to a bigger spot, and kind of like what that meant and how like the community was involved, it wasn't, I purposely didn't, I honestly think that it didn't actually, it wasn't thought out or planned properly, in a way that that made sense of the resources and all the, it just wasn't, the business model was flawed, basically, in many different ways. And because of that, there were a lot of people that worked overtime and without any money, and kind of like, and then we're working amongst all like 60 different people with different ideas and different thoughts about how things should be run. And I think it ended up, not, like, the people who started it were amazing. Everyone, it's an amazing project that has happened. But I think for people that were working there for a really long time, parts of it actually were a bit exploitive of just, of people's time and how much people could put into a project that, like, they actually didn't have much autonomy over. And it's, and I think it's cool doing something like that for like a short amount of time, like a house show spot or whatever. Like, those end up closing because, like, at some point there's like a huge burnout, and you can just kind of close those spots because it was being funded by you living there anyway. And then, and doing things there, and then someone else comes in and takes over. But when you have like a business that you're trying to like have projections for, and you're trying to maintain, and it's a lot more expensive, it ends up it's a different animal. And then, so for me, just like, I feel kind of relieved that it's gone, and sad, because it's such an amazing spot that I like was there for like 5 years, and calendar manager there for almost the exact amount of time. And and I just think, but it took up all my mental capacity. It basically and there were times when I felt like I could and should leave, but didn't want to, because I was worried about what might happen to like the business model, or like, because it's not that easy to just be like, all right, see ya, I'm just gonna like go. And I think, and so it's, and I think it's probably for the best that it didn't last much longer, because there was no money in there, and everyone was pouring everything that they had into something that was running at a deficit.
And you could actually tell the Silent Barn story by filling in any other DIY venue that is come and gone. So where do you think this DIY community thing can go from here?
Well, I do think that Silent Barn was different than a lot of the other spots, because it really did have a focus on community. We actually which in like a radical sense, like a very radical sense, like we never had, well, first of all, we never had any corporate sponsorships at all, ever. Like we were against it. So that's part of the reason why we were closing, because a lot of places, they're like, oh, Jameson wants to give us, this amount of money to have a party, like, let's do it. And like Silent Barn would be like, hell no, like, we're not doing that. Like, they want us to put banners up or whatever. And it's like, so there was that aspect of it, which honestly was great. Like being able to not take money from a corporation for 5 years and stay open and have shows. Secondly, what was your exact question again?
No, I said, where do we go from here?
Oh, where do we go?
Next?
Oh, okay, right. Mm-hmm. So Silent Barn was different in this aspect, because we actually had people from the Bushwick community there, like doing things and working and like having their youth programs in there. And also when we booked shows, we also were looking for a community, and we had community shows first. Like we would never, we got to this point where we had a meeting this one day, and we were just like, if a community show comes first on the calendar, we're not going to move it for something else, even if it's bigger, because, a lot of venues will do that. They'll put like, they'll do the hold process where you'll have like first hold, second hold. And like, if the first hold, is bigger or whatever, or sorry, if one of the holds is bigger than the other, like has more people, they'll take that hold usually, if it's going to bring more attendance there, which is something we didn't do, which is also why we're closing, because we just really wanted to make it a space that people could start out at, and it ended up being that. A lot of people played their first shows ever at Silent Barn. Like Mitski played like some of her like earliest shows at Silent Barn.
Bliss.
Vagabond. Yeah. Charlie Bliss. Like all these like bands that are now, giant. Like, so, and yeah. And
didn't Speedy do their new album there?
Speedy played there a bunch of times. Yeah. Like a lot
Speedy
of
Ortiz,
a lot of bands. Yeah, sorry, Speedy Ortiz. Yeah. We all know, So I don't know. I just it was different. It was definitely a place that put that specific, and it wasn't even the Silent Barn community. It was more just like, it was more just community at first, because a lot of other venues I loved that were around, it was very their community, their exact community. Their, a lot of the time their community was like very white community, very white, like very specific to like a genre kind of community, and and that's a place for that, Like, totally, that's fine. But like Silent Barn was wanted to never be that. So,
Did artists from other states want to do a show there? And did you like put them on hold for like a local act?
Sometimes, yeah. Because honestly, but it wasn't, I mean, I tried to help as many touring acts as humanly possible. But if there was like a show from, someone from the Bushwick Native community that literally like have been living down the block for like, 10 years with their family, and their kid had like wanted to have like a party or whatever, like, and that ended up seeming more worthwhile to have, I think, because I mean, to be honest with you, touring bands coming in that, like there's many venues they can play at. Like you can literally, like you can, at this point as a touring band, like obviously if they want help, I'll help them trying to put them somewhere else. But there's so many venues in New York City that, you'd be like, oh yeah, we're a band from Arkansas or whatever. Like, yeah, you have like some friends here, book a show with them, maybe Alphaville probably will have it or whatever. But, a local hip hop show from, the person down the street, like are these places going to book it? Who knows? Like, I don't see it happening all the time. Like, I don't see them going out of their way to do that. So I felt like it was Silent Barn's responsibility to help them stay there and do that. So
as far as sustainability is concerned, did the Silent Barn mantra leave from let's just put on shows to pay for rent to something bigger, to let's make this profitable?
See, that's the thing, is we were trying to be profitable, but I mean, and that would have been a good business plan. But no one, I mean, honestly, yeah, we were running at a deficit for years. And it's because of that. It's because we gave all our money to artists. Literally gave most of the money to artists. Like, we took very small door cuts. And for years we didn't have like a proper bar, so we weren't making like money from that either. And I don't know. It basically, it always basically ran to be exactly what was made was going back into rent and bills and expenses and paying staff. Paying staff was a huge thing for us. We just wanted to make sure that people were paid fairly for working, which is interesting because it like staff paying like people who are actually working the shows like a decent wage because they were doing the footwork. But yeah, it's interesting because the rest of the collective, the people that had been working for a long time, like some of them were working like almost full-time-ish jobs and not making that much money. So I don't know. It's interesting. Like the financial, like I was just saying, like putting community shows first and doing all this stuff that literally makes no money because like you put on a community show or like you have a community show and like they're like 18-year-olds that show up because we're all ages, and then no one drinks at the bar, but like they bring a huge attendance, but then we don't, but it's like making decisions like that, making actual decisions to be like, okay, we're going to have this type of event here because they need it here, but like not really thinking enough about what that meant to do that. And honestly, I do think that the only way at this point, I do really think that the only way to really do that properly is to be a not-for-profit, which you have to do from the very beginning. You can't like do it years in because to get like the bigger grants that you need for operational costs, like you only get after like 4 or 5 years of being a business. So yeah, so that was part of the problem, is like in looking back, that's something that I think Silent Barn should have done at the very, very beginning, is become a not-for-profit. And then it would have made things so much easier to get grants and all this stuff for what we were trying to do, which is actually, I think you need to be funded by the government and other organizations, I think, outside of what you're trying to do for that kind of work.
Don't you think that keeping it simple, let's just do this so we can just cover what we need to cover, like rent, and then the rest can just kind of just come as time goes on? Do you think that will be the proper next step for like a DIY venue to just sustain? Or maybe I'm just not seeing the big picture?
I mean, that was definitely the idea. But yeah, and to be honest, there have been some setbacks of like rent, because Silent Bar was a whole building that had like people renting like apartments upstairs and people renting studios in the back and all this stuff. And, I mean, it takes people to collect rent. And sometimes, and then what do you do if people don't pay rent? And all that kind of stuff. So there was all this, there was some back rent that from people that was paid. And then there was, there was just all these like things that you can't really foresee happening as like a business like that when you have a whole building. And it's like, it's just a lot to take on. I would tell an organization starting out not to start that big, to be small. If you're just trying to do one thing, just do that one thing and try to make that work, because when you have all these other different facets of things that you then have to control and get money from somehow, it makes it a lot lot
So keep it small and non-for-profit. That's where we go.
Right. Yeah. Or if you're, I mean, yeah, I do think that organizations can and should be funded by the government. I do think that small DIY spaces like should be funded somehow from the arts, community board or whatever. Should look at them and be like, this spot is doing something that's important. Like, let's help them out. Like, they have money. There's money that they're giving to people. They're giving them to, like, there's a space called The Shed that just opened, I think in like the meat packing district or something in Manhattan. And they got like so much money. I don't remember exactly how much, so I don't want to say it, but they got so much money to do like artist residencies and like all this stuff from the government, and just like gave it to them. And, and they're doing what they can do with it. And that's great. But, it makes me think that if they're able to like get that money and give it to an organization, like, why can't they figure out how to help out smaller arts organizations that are happening, and help them stay open? I think maybe that's hopefully where we're going is, that's what I want to see this new nightlife mayor like help to do, because there's money there, and it should be supporting these organizations,
I mean, aren't you optimistic? Because look at Market Hotel. Didn't they go through the same thing? And now they're back up and running.
Market Hotel had problems though, like liquor wise and all this kind of stuff. And it's run by Todd P. So I don't know. I do think that Todd P is privileged enough to be able to continue conversations. So let's just put it that way. I think that like for, like doing stuff like that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of lawyers and kind of being able to navigate the system in a way that, like, I don't know, maybe not your average person wanting to open up a community spot really knows how to navigate. So I do think there's that. I mean, yeah, I think it's awesome Market Hotel's reopening, though. I think it's, it's
I think it already did.
It's a cool zone.
Screaming Females did a sold-out show
there. Oh, right.
There.
You're right. It did open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone did a whole thing on the DIY stuff and the nightlife.
Yeah, we're using it for a Northside Festival, so I should have remembered that. But
yeah. So I want to talk about Northside, but, last thing on Silent Barn, what was your favorite show that you attended and also coordinated?
So actually, one of my favorite shows was when I used to live upstairs at Silent Barn. I remember the band Forma used to like play in our living room up there, which like now thinking about it is pretty hilarious and crazy. But yeah, we had like dance parties up there sometimes. And yeah, like Forma played in my living room, and that was amazing. They like so one of the guys from Forma is like a woodworker and like a, what do you call it? Like a, I guess maybe like a carpenter type person. Anyway, like really handy. And like I had like this shelf that was like attached to the wall that like he would unscrew like with a screw gun and then like re-screw in after like they played in the apartment just to make more room, you know? Like he would take the shelf down, like set up in the area where the shelf was or whatever, and then like after they were done just like put the shelf back up. And he did it like a few times. I just always thought that was like really funny. But yeah, I don't know. If you don't know Forma, you should check them out.
Yeah. I will, definitely.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I take your recommendations seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because the last show I saw at Silent Barn was War Cries, your other group, and Sloppy Jane.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was
Sloppy
something
Jane's
else.
amazing.
Did you hear the new album, Willow?
I haven't listened to it yet, but I have to.
It is so
I'm behind.
creative. Yes,
Yeah.
you are. You're very behind.
Very behind
on the stuff that
on
you
all
put
the new
together.
stuff.
The stuff that you put me onto, you're behind on.
I know.
Which is crazy.
I know.
And
that's always how it works, though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you get other people interested, and then they're like, "Ooh, wait, I'm gonna follow."
I was like, "That's right. I did tell you about that one."
I did tell you about that. Yeah.
And I think the other show, I think you booked. I don't know if you booked. It was Fruit and Flowers, Beach Creeps, Bambara. Did you book that one?
Did I book that, or it might have been someone else that booked it that I helped book it.
So you were a part of it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I was a part of. That's the thing is like
I
was
saw you
loosely
there.
A part of like a billion shows there because you know people would come to me and they'd be like, oh, here's like I want to set up a show with these like 2 acts or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, like what about this act also on it or something. And so I'd like throw a band on or give them ideas, you know, of like who to ask or like whatever.
I think your sister was there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was
definitely
talking to your sister a lot. I think she was.
I think I was there too. It sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think she was running sound.
That makes sense. Yeah, she worked sound there all the time.
Yeah, that was a great night. That was so much fun. And I saw my first Weeping Icon show at Silent Barn like 2 years ago. It was something else. Loved it. You know how much I love you girls. You guys are awesome. So Northside Festival, right? So can you tell me what is Northside? I have an idea of what it is. I just want people to understand what
so
you actually do.
Northside is a festival that spans maybe 20 venues, 25. I don't know.
It's only 20 venues.
Depends.
Yeah.
It always depends. Honestly, like we try to keep it down to like a certain amount of venues, and then like, you know, people are like, hey, I want to set up a show here or something. We're like, I guess it's kind of close to where the other ones are. So sure, like add it on, you know. So like it ends up expanding. And actually this year we're doing shows at Trans Pecos.
Yeah.
So we never go into Queens because it's a Brooklyn festival, but this year we are for some reason, which is cool. So there'll be like a few shows there. Yeah, so it's and then there's usually, you know, some of those venues are used for like the like kind of bigger acts, like Liz Phair is playing at National Sawdust, which will be really crazy. And Bearcat, who I really like, and Jana Rush, they're both like kind of electronic like artists, techno. I don't know really how to explain their music at all, but they're playing at like Secret Project Robot. You know, they're like bigger acts playing smaller venues, and I don't know. Yeah, so it's kind of just like a multifaceted like festival that kind of is like South by Southwest in a way, but yeah, but different.
All the chaos is kind of contained
Right.
within different venues.
Exactly.
At South by, from what I understand, it's like everybody's out in the streets and everything is happening at the same time. It's just kind of chaotic. But Northside, something at the time, the last time I was there, it was something going on at Shea Stadium, something going on at House of Vans, something else happening at Alphaville. Oh, it's crazy. It's so much fun, but it's tiresome. So I know you're always, I remember I saw you 2 years ago there. You were exhausted. You had like no time to talk to me, but you took the time to do so. So what is your job? Yeah, you did. You probably were like just thinking about something else. Like, I'm starving. Why does this guy have a microphone in my face? You know?
Wait, you had a microphone in my face at some point last year? Oh man, I'm sorry.
It was like 2 years ago. We were talking. Okay. We had a great conversation, but you were just, really were. You had a lot on your plate. Well,
during the festival. Okay, well, I'll start off, I guess, with what I do. So I'm the showcase coordinator for Northside Festival. So my job is to coordinate all the label, all the label showcases. I coordinate all the promoter showcases too. Not all of them. I just help facilitate a lot of these. And also, I mean, there's 3 of us that work on booking the whole festival. So my colleague Jeff, he helps a lot with label showcases too, and bringing them to bigger spots. Like last year, Sacred Bones did a big thing at Brooklyn Night Bazaar, or Brooklyn Bazaar. I guess it's not Night Bazaar anymore. Brooklyn Bazaar, and yeah, so he'll do stuff like that too. But yeah, that's my job there. And yeah, so basically I kind of curate the labels that I like and promoters and have them do shows. So as I was telling you earlier, Young Maine, Casey Kirkland is one of my favorite promoters in New York. I've actually never met her in real life, but we've spoken quite a bunch. But I just really like her curation style and what she puts together. She'll do shows that have hip hop, that are also have metal bands and punk and noise bands playing with noisy hip hop, techno kind of stuff sometimes. I don't know. She kind of mixes all the stuff that when you see it on a bill and you actually go to the shows, it makes a lot of sense that it's together. And it's all different, but it's I don't know. She's really good with kind of curating it in that way. So yeah, she's someone I'm really excited about who's doing a show this year. There's NNA tapes that has acts like Leah Bertucci and Tradishi Bacci and all these kind of acts that are experimental sound and noise kind of stuff. So they're doing a 2-day showcase, one at 2 different spots this year, and they're a great label. Sleepy's is doing their 10-year anniversary show during Northside at Secret Project Robot. They've been a band for 10 years. Parlor Walls is going to play on that, and I forget who else, but yeah. So I don't know. There's just all these different shows that are happening everywhere.
Do you book some of the shows, the actual?
Sometimes, towards the very end, I end up booking the shows, but I end up I'm mainly facilitating, which is what I am an expert now at doing after Silent Barn.
So what does that entail? What do you facilitate?
I reach out to labels and I'm hey, do you want to do a showcase? So I'm I'll find labels that I like, which I like a lot of labels.
Yes.
And showcases and promoters. Or they'll reach out to me, and then I help them set up a showcase so they can showcase their artists they've been working with.
So the label will put together the actual bill of artists.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But towards the end, I end up booking some stuff because I also have to pick people from Sonic Bids.
What is that?
So Sonic Bids is a program. It's this online application process for festivals that like musicians can like apply to like play different things. And then I have to pick 20 of them. So this year I had to listen to 340 Sonic Bid submissions and pick 20, which I did.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something else I do. But then I end up booking shows for them. So then I'll like put them at I'm booking a show with some of these people at Muchmore's, maybe Rose Gold, Pete's Candy Store. Yeah, so I do that. And then towards the end, when I'm like really filling spots, I'll like, some local bands have reached out to me and been like, hey, you can throw me on something. And like towards the very end, I can like kind of throw a few in there and whatever. I also, when promoters because there's also promoter showcases, like I said, so I'll send them ideas too, like Max Can. Max Can.
Yeah, Ears to Feed.
Ears to Feed.
He's
yeah.
a homie, man.
Yeah, he's doing like a show on June 7th at Secret Project Robot, where he like is bringing in Cold Beat from like San Francisco. I love that band. And I'm like, how did you even get them? But like I'll throw him like some ideas or whatever. I'll be like, oh, this band reached out to me, or like well, he already had Bambara, but then Bambara like reached out to me asking for a show, and I was like, wait, I think Max is putting on a show. But anyway, yeah, stuff like that. I ran into him
at Court Square.
Who, Max?
Yeah. I was
Max.
walking towards the E, and I think he got off the E to go the other way. And we just kind of rapped for a minute, and he's the man.
Yeah.
It's cool to find other people that like the noisy music you like. We'll sit there and talk about Mets and then play Spirit Strangers for like 20 minutes. Like, oh man, I gotta catch my train. Shout out to Max. He's the man.
Shout out to Max.
Yes.
He is a very amazing person. I love Max so much, and like we definitely like the very similar music, which is nice because yeah, like you're saying, we just like rap off about just all be talking to him, be like, oh, did you hear this? Like he does the same thing you do, like, oh, did you hear this thing? And I'm like, oh, I haven't listened to it yet. Yeah. I
saw him at the Met show at Music Hall with Uniform and Bambara. Wow, that was
I wish I could have gone.
It was so crazy.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Uniform. Have you seen them live before?
Yes, I love Uniform. Actually, Ben Greenberg from Uniform is going to be recording Weeping Icon at the end of the month.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
Sound like
That's
that,
going to be something. That's going to be something because Uniform, those guys get busy. I saw a dude break the microphone stand and just keep going. Just forget about it. Just keep going. And it wasn't even like it was a fault or an error. It was just like, okay, that's just part of the show. Let's just, see what happens next. And that was a wild ride. It was crazy. So as far as Northside is concerned, what is the most stressful thing and the most fulfilling aspect of your job?
I would say the most stressful, well, there's a few stressful elements, but I love the two people that I work with a lot. Like the two other people that like program music, they're like the best, and I could not be fucking happier. Sorry, I said fucking. Sorry,
no, you can curse.
I could not be. Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes. I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
But it's just like, because we're just talking. That's all it is.
I could not be happier working with them. They're amazing. The organization itself has had some problems like funding recently. So that's been really stressful. It's been really stressful for my boss, one of the other programmer people. So I really feel for her. She's been super stressed out about it all. But other than that, I really, honestly, it's kind of like really fun for me to do this work. It's like I enjoy it, which, is funny to say out loud, because it's like I don't really enjoy that many things that I have to do for work. So like the fact that I enjoy what I'm doing for work, I'm like, oh my God, I have to like keep doing this, or just, I don't know. So I actually like it. I mean, the festival itself gets a little stressful because like during the festival, I have to run around and basically sometimes we give showcases money And so I have to run around and like deliver the money to everybody. So
Yeah, I
that's
remember
why
seeing
I'm
you
running
doing
around.
that.
Yeah.
When I went to go see you at not Alphaville, Sunnyvale, and you were like, "Hold on one second, I have to give somebody their money."
Yeah.
it was that was quite a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like, I wish like I can be kind of like you in that regard. Like you can be so reserved when you have a lot of stuff on your plate. Maybe you were hiding something, but you just kind of handled the stress very, very well.
Well, honestly, I think that's why people hire me to do stuff like that. Cause I'm like, I don't know. I don't really like freak out about stuff that I'm working on. I kind of just try to handle it as best as I can and then be like, sorry, that's just, I mean, that's the whole thing about like production and doing events is like shit goes wrong,
Shit
and
happens.
you just, and it happens and it goes wrong all the time, that you just, it's about how much you plan in advance for things to go wrong is a huge thing. And then how, when something goes wrong, how immediately you try or you can fix it, or like how you can fix it, is really important. And just fixing it the best you can, you're going to disappoint people no matter what, but
Yeah. But I remember you actually, our first meeting, right? Our first ever interview. You were with Advaita at the time, and we went out for pizza because I just loved hanging out with you girls so much. It was so entertaining. I didn't want the day to end. It was just like, I've never experienced that in my life. All of that
people,
energy.
yeah.
No. Like it was crazy. And we were online to get pizza, and I think you wanted some water, right? And then you had to pay for it, but then you told the guy that was, behind the counter that in New York City, like, you have to have free water. I didn't know that. And the guy working didn't know that either. But I'm like, oh my God.
Because he was trying to charge me like $1 or something for like tap water. I'm like, get out of here. I'm not paying you for your tap water. Get out.
I learned a lot that day. I had no idea that was a thing. Like, okay, so I can just get free water in New York City like that? Like, for real?
Yeah, you can. It's like a law that also like, I don't know. Yeah. Why the hell are you paying? Like, why the hell are you trying to charge people for water?
But you didn't get angry. You were just like firm. You're just very firm in your beliefs. You know what I mean? But you still come at it like very calm and relaxed.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I feel like now I would probably get angry at that. Like if that were to happen today, I'd be like, get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm leaving right now. Like,
absolutely.
Unless you give me your...
So if somebody wanted to go to Northside just to go, like, what do you think they'll get out of that experience?
Well, you will see, like, you can see 200 plus bands. And
Bandcamp come to life.
I mean, kind of honestly, there's just so much, like, that, and so many acts that like are really good that like, might not all play, because, in New York, like people want to like not play as often or whatever, like, but that, obviously there are some bands that play all the time, but then there's some bands that like, they'll just like play shows here and there, whatever. But then those acts will play like their label showcase because they love their label and they're like, yeah, we got to get back to our label. So they'll play like their label showcase. So you'll see like a lot of acts that, might not play as often, playing during this time. A lot of them kind of travel a lot and play like bigger festivals and all that kind of stuff. And you can see them in like a smaller venue. So that's cool. Yeah, and I mean, it's just, you can get a badge. Badges are $75, I think. But like, if you think about how many shows you could see for $75, it's actually a pretty good deal. Because, some of the shows are like, $17 at the door. Like Piss Jeans is playing a show.
Wow.
With Yvette.
Wow.
And
you, right? Aren't you on that bill?
No, I wish. No, Goon Sax, I think, from like Australia or something, are added on that. I don't know. That should be really cool. But like, for example, that show itself, I think is like $17 at the door. So, you know, that's already like a quarter of $75, or not a quarter, but you know, can't do math. But anyway, so like if you have a badge, you can like, the idea is that you can go to like all, like as many shows as you want, which is cool. And yeah, and it helps support the festival and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love Northside.
See all this stuff, you know.
I saw Childbirth there, and they're from Seattle.
Oh,
they don't
yeah,
come to
yeah,
New York
yeah.
like that at all.
Right.
And they're so awesome. I met
miss
Julia.
them.
I got to interview them.
Oh, cool.
It was awesome. They are so nice.
That's so cool.
I met Bree from Taco Cat, who also plays in that group. Oh my God. Love them. They're so
awesome.
good. And are you involved with Out in the Streets at all? Did you ever do that?
No, I was never part of that. But yeah, they're cool. I don't really know much about them, though.
That's my favorite festival thing in New York City.
Oh,
it's
shit.
amazing because you really see New York come out. Like the bands from New York actually just play out. It's awesome. And people from elsewhere. I think Gorilla Toss played.
Out on the Streets.
Yeah.
Is that when does that happen?
July. Like a Saturday and a Sunday in July.
Cool.
They had it when I went in 2016. It was at the Underdog House in, I think that's Ridgewood. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember that festival. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It happened at Honor Dunk House, right? There was just like 2 days there or something.
Yeah. And then last year it was at the Well.
Cool.
The Place Space Strangers did it.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So tell me about Clock Tower, because I know you guys do radio, but that's probably one of the many things you do. So I want to understand what it is, you know?
Yeah. So, well, Clock Tower is an organization that was started by Alana Heiss. She also founded PS1. So this is like her project, like I guess a side project. It's like art radio, basically. But they also, so Clock Tower also puts out media. Basically it's like a platform for like media, like art media, basically, and radio.
So if I wanted to show a Clock Tower, I can do it.
Yes.
Okay.
You would have to apply, but yes. But so how do I put this? Clock Tower, after the last event that happened in Interference AV at the movie theater that I put on, I think that might be the last event that happens. So I'm not really working with them anymore.
The last Clock Tower or the last Interference AV
Last
movie theater?
Clock Tower event.
Okay.
At least for this moment in time.
Why is that?
I think it's various reasons. I'm not trying to say that like nothing might never happen again, but it's just like at this moment there's no momentum to do events. The staff is very limited. The program director left, and he's working on something else now. So there won't really be, I won't be working on Clock Tower anymore. It'll still exist because like it's Alana's project and she'll do whatever she feels like she wants to do with the name. So that'll be that. But yeah, but it was a cool thing. It was like a really fun place to do stuff for sure.
So let's talk about Interference AV and the Times Square Arts collaboration at AMC in Times Square. So you put together the whole thing. You invite every band that was on that bill. You put that together. That's
all the video artists too.
Fantastic. That is so cool. So I think you guys should do that more often, I think, because it was really a unique experience seeing a band in a movie theater. Like Screaming Females did it 2 years ago, but I was a part of a Primal Scream. Was that part of Times Square Arts or?
It was also.
Okay.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like the first one of this series, I guess. But I didn't book that one. I booked the last one.
So did you like talk to the movie theater and say, hey, we're going to put a show here and we're going to set up zines in the lobby?
Yeah.
Was it that easy or?
No, it wasn't easy. It was, so Times Square Arts, their whole mission is to bring public art to Times Square. And they, they get grants, I guess, from the, to do that kind of thing there. It's like a part of this like city programming, so they were the ones that spoke to the theater about doing it. And then they brought Clock Tower on as like a partner, to like do the curation. And then since I was the only one kind of like actively with like the active ability to do anything from Clock Tower's end, I ended up curating the whole thing, which is cool. It was great. It was an amazing opportunity. It was a lot of work.
So Clock Tower asks the bands to come play, or you
Exactly.
as Lani?
Clock Tower.
Okay.
Clock Tower did, but it was me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was all me, like the entire thing I booked, and came up with all the ideas myself, basically. I mean, I wouldn't say no, not myself. Like obviously, I spoke to the video artist, Peter Burr, one of the video artists that we got. We like kind of went back and forth about like artists and musicians and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I ended up booking what I ended up booking, or what I thought about booking. So
yeah, those are like probably your dream bills, because 2 years ago you had Screaming Females and Priests. You put that together too, right?
I didn't book that.
Okay.
No.
All right, but this year you had Irreversible Entanglements,
so
Lightning Bolts, Sun Ra. Oh my God, it was unreal. It was amazing. Would you consider doing something like that, like on your own volition?
Yeah, I actually, I mean, it brings, if I had funding, for sure. I mean, there might, like, it is possible that that Times Square, if they wanted to do it again, could just hire me to do it. But we'll see. But in terms of me doing it somewhere else where I can afford it, because, renting out the theater is really expensive. So I don't know if I could do that without Times Square. But, like I've been talking about other spaces to do it, something like that at. There's a space called Public Arts that's cool that I've been like thinking about doing stuff. So yeah, I would love to do it again. I'm now very into video art, so I've been like researching all these artists and stuff. There's a big world out there of video artists.
You're gonna take those ideas and put it into Weeping Icon?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yes. And you have a couple,
in what channel in one place.
I know you have a few shows lined up for Weeping Icon. You're at the Bazaar in Alphaville?
No, we're not playing Alphaville. No. We so at the end of this month we're playing at Brooklyn Bazaar with Sonnet, Cloakroom,
wow.
And Self Defense Family. So that should be really interesting. But cool. I think it should be fun. We're doing 2 dates with Sonnet and Self Defense Family. We're playing in Boston with them the night before. That's May 30th and 31st. And then we just accepted a show in late June. We're playing on the rooftop of Our Wicked Lady.
Again?
Yeah, we're going to play.
Sweet.
Yeah. So K9 Records, which is the record label that we're...
love K9.
Yeah. So he's having like a rooftop party show that we're going to play.
The K9 parties are always great.
Yeah.
I went to the holiday thing at Alphaville.
Oh, yeah.
Soccer Mommy.
I know.
Dirty
She's
Dishes.
huge now.
Oh, yeah. And I think it was you. Weeping Icon. Yeah. Great show. Amazing show. Who else is playing that rooftop show?
It's undetermined yet, but probably some sorts of K9 bands. Or whatever.
Hopefully Hockey Dad. Hopefully
let's see.
Ancient Blue or Blue. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. You know that group?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Like K9?
Yeah.
That's funny. I don't even know who they are.
K9, the K9 roster is
it's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. They put out like the first
Weaves?
Surfer Blood album
like
years ago that was huge.
Chairlift. about 10 years ago.
Yeah. They've had a lot of acts.
You're recording a new LP with Weeping?
We are. Yeah, we're in the middle of writing it right now. So we have practice tonight where we're
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
We're
awesome.
writing a lot.
So as far as Eyeball Under, where are you gonna go from there creatively? What kind of new ideas are you kind of testing?
Well, it's
If
funny
at all.
because it's funny because everyone's like, oh, like this LP that you wrote is like, blah blah blah, and I'm like, that was supposed to be demos, honestly.
Really?
They were okay, maybe not demos, but like they were the first songs we ever wrote as a band. Jail Bills is the first song we wrote ever. So it's like, basically, as a band, I do think like, your first thing that you put out there, basically I just wanted it out so people would be like, so we could play more shows, if that makes more sense. Because it's like, unless you have music out, like people don't really know what you sound like or whatever. So I'm like, oh, let's record like a quick demo or whatever, put it on a tape. And then, basically that was the plan. And then we, Leo was like at every one of our shows back then and was like, send it to me. And we're like, okay, we'll send it to you. But like, our minds were like, yeah, let's put it out on a tape with somebody, like really quick and easy. And then, both Leo and Trevor were like, no, we're going to put this on a vinyl and like do the whole thing. And then it ended up being a thing. But it, honestly, it was just like the first stuff. So basically anywhere we go from there is growing because that was just the first stuff we got out, So
was Angles part of those early
no
Under sessions?
No, it wasn't. So that was recorded at Kutch One Studios, which is in Greenpoint or something, and Trip from Wharfcat, he got that studio for the whole, like everyone recorded songs for the ACLU there, the ACLU compilation there.
Yes, I've heard some of that. It's really awesome.
Yeah, Wharfcat's amazing. They have such an amazing roster.
They have Wall. They had Wall. Bombara.
Public Practice, though.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen them yet.
Oh, they're a really good band.
I heard a demo. It was solid, but it's a demo, so you can't really
live though.
gauge.
It's like very polished.
Because Sam York is just like,
yeah,
she is fantastic.
I know, so good.
Love her. Love that. I can't wait to see what she's gonna put together with Public Practice, and of course Wharfcat is just.
Yeah. I mean, Beverly is half of that band.
It's
half Wall, half Beverly.
Really?
Yeah, Drew from Beverly plays in Public Practice, and Scott too was playing drums when I saw them.
Wow, That's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah,
two bands that I love so much.
It's like a super group for sure.
Yeah, I mean, one of the last, I think the last Wall show I saw was at Babies with Beverly, and that was wild.
Mm-hmm.
Wall was incredible.
Yeah,
so I'm so excited that Sam is back.
It's really
doing
good.
other projects. It's really,
they're gonna be big.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. So your other project, War Cries, it now has a new moniker now. Is that
called
right?
Viv now.
Viv, like a Viv.
V-I-V.
Yeah. I used to call Viv Aviv for a while.
Really?
Yeah. I would go on the radio
funny.
and say Aviv, but it's
Aviv, yeah.
Aviv. Okay.
Yeah.
Why the name change?
Well, the main reason is I just didn't want a name that when you Google it, the first thing that comes up is a Native American.
True.
So, just being a band of all like white people.
To put it lightly.
To put it lightly.
Yeah.
I didn't, I don't know. I thought, the imagery that came with War Cries was not mine. So that's the main reason why. And then, yeah.
What's Viv? What is that?
Viv, it's like your grandma. It's like it's like Aunt Viv, you know. It's like, but it's also like I see it as like VIV is kind of like Roman numerals kind of, but like not really, because that doesn't mean anything in Roman numerals, because it's always like the bigger.
I could picture like the t-shirt.
Right, but like I like how it looks on like you know, like written down, and I think it's like it fits us more in like a psychedelic kind of like psychedelic harder. We're very like harder psychedelic pop kind of. So yeah, I felt it fits. Yeah, and my friend did the cover of the record. It's a full record. I'll send it to you. It's out there.
They're not demos, or they're like...
Oh, no, this is a full record.
Oh,
yeah. That I've been sitting on, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been bothering you about it for about 3 years now.
No, I know. I have to send it to you. I have to send it to a lot of people, to be honest with you. Like, that's basically where I'm at right now. It's like, okay, we have this whole thing. We have pictures. We have an album cover. It's up on SoundCloud. Private. It's private.
Oh, okay.
It's privately up on SoundCloud. Like, everything's there. I just have to, like, physically be like, hey... here's this record. What's up? Yeah. So
when is that coming out?
Doing that. We'll see.
You don't know yet?
No
Have
idea.
you been shopping? You've been shopping it to
I'm trying. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I want to shop it around now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Why not Canine or Fire Talk?
Maybe I'll send it. Yeah, I'll send it and see. You know, we might just end up putting it on a tape ourselves. You know, kind of like
nothing wrong with self-release.
Just kind of like, hey, here's it. You know, here's this thing we did. Yeah. So
how's Weeping Icon doing on streaming services? Do you have a gauge of how many people listened or downloaded?
It doesn't seem like that many people are listening.
Like it's probably just me, like a bunch of times.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, we're not like, you know, hopefully our next record will have bigger listener. Well, I guess a lot of people have listened on Bandcamp. Bandcamp's cooler anyway.
Because the money goes straight
Spotify.
to you. I use Tidal, so
I'm just gonna say it. Fuck Spotify. No, but I listen to Spotify too. But it's like, I don't know. Bandcamp is like a way better way to listen to music, I think. If only they had a good player.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's not accessible because it's just meant to stream, just to listen to, and then you just buy the album,
right?
And then that's it.
Right. They have to incorporate a good player to Bandcamp.
Because I would subscribe to Bandcamp.
Oh yeah.
I would pay $10 a month to listen to Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I mean like it's amazing. Like I don't know. I think that they're like the platform is really nice. It looks really great. Like Bandcamp is a really cool website. I think it's really awesome. Much rather like have people listening on that anyway than Spotify, you know.
So I know you're involved with so many things. How much is too much?
Well, it's all ending though. Like I said, pretty much like at the end of June, I'm gonna be unemployed and.
Oh, great!
Yeah, I'm gonna be unemployed, looking for a job, sort of, and make music.
You could be a rock star, because being a rock star is very lucrative these days.
Right. Well, I want to create stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a mental break.
Oh, you need it.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take a mental break. I mean, obviously I need to make money, so, see what happens. Apply to things, do like some projects, hopefully.
Yeah.
I like project-based work, so.
You can flash your nice little SUNY Hunter degree.
I don't have that anymore. I don't have my Hunter College thing. Wait,
Why?
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't have it anymore.
You don't have it anymore? I lost it. You lost your physical degree?
Oh, the degree.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about my ID.
Oh.
I was like, wait, I can get into all the museums with that if I still had it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Do something else. I just haven't, put myself out there to do anything else, basically, because I'm kind of just riding on things ending.
Yeah. But. Lani, this has been amazing.
Yeah.
I always love talking to you, and I hope you come on again because now you're unemployed.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
I'll be here all the time. I'll interview some other people for you.
Absolutely. And this has been level 8 of My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. Please subscribe on Google Play Music, Apple Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, and of course on my website, peteraradio.us. All right? Peace out.